What's up, YouTube? It's your neighborhood young black conservative. I wanted to talk to y'all about the whole Ben Shapiro versus Candace Owens. And I think I might be looking at this different from everybody else because everybody else might be trying to be like, oh, this is like super confrontational. This is like super, but I think this is a time for like us to see like, hey, conservatives could disagree, conservatives could beef, but still be adults.
Yes, the question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I can't know that. Yeah, and she still works for my company. And I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree, or
Yeah.
I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. We were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
If you like the content, remember Habu, hook a brother up. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. It helps out with the algorithm, and don't forget to like and dislike to know if let me know if I'm doing something wrong. I think this is a time or an opportunity for conservatives to show that they could disagree, but still remain friends and still remain cool. Because on the left, when you have disagreements, you tend to have chaos. I don't know the extent to how their problem is. I don't know if this could be solved with Matt Walsh bringing them in, say, sit down, kids, and have a drink, or sit down, kids, let's have a steak or something. I don't know to the extent we could just solve by just doing that, but I still feel like it is a area of interest to talk about. I believe this comes from their disagreements about where they believe America should come in with Israel and Hamas. Because me personally, I think it's not Israel versus Palestine, it's Israel versus Hamas, and then a lot of Palestine are just Hamas sympathizers. Because October 7th, was that right there? I'm not sure. October 7th was a war, was a terrorist attack, but that's a declaration of war. That's a war. That's how you start a war. You don't just do that and no, that's all we're gonna do. That's all that should happen. No, that's just like as messed up as it sounds, hey, you're gonna have to take that L. You're if you're gonna start some problem with another country and you're not really prepared if you're gonna start a problem with another country and you're not prepared to end it, then you might not want to start something. Russia, on the other hand, started it, and they going 2 years strong with this war. People say you losing, but it's pretty much Ukraine lost. But Israel need to go defend themselves. They started Hamas started the war just like Russia started it. So what after Russia did the attack was Ukraine supposed to say, all right, let's call for a ceasefire? No, after Russia started the attack, everyone was, oh yeah, go ahead, Ukraine, go, we'll fund y'all. So the same thing should probably happen to Hamas. Oh, but because they're a weaker country, that's the issue.
If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel.
Well, I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel. I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests. And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley, with enough money from foreign interest lobbies. So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel.
The liberal left has affected America with this idea that we must defend the weaker person no matter what they did or no matter what's wrong or right. As long as the person in the situation is in the weaker, the less position, they can do no wrong and we must defend them. While common sense is they attack another country, they're just gonna get what's coming to them. And the whole world should just be like, because back in the day when countries went to war, all the other countries was like, damn, that's crazy. Unless they had like vested interest in going in and helping. Most countries don't really have that much of a concern or that much of an interest in helping out in the Israel versus Palestine war because most of Israel's allies feel like, yo, Israel could handle this. And most of Palestine or Hamas allies feel like if I get involved, it's gonna bring other people involved and it's gonna get me messed up. So they on their own. So and I kind of should be like that. As much as this sounds, to be honest, as much as this sounds, kind of should be like that.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms? So there are people that are asking that question. Now, what I have said is that explicit calls for genocide, which was stunning to me to see that in Congress, are completely wrong. It is frankly crazy. I have not weighed in on the IDF's response in the same way that I have consistently said through every war, Ukraine and Russia, I don't want to be involved. I have said I don't want to be involved in Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts. My consistency seems to offend people, right? But I haven't made a single tweet or a single comment on IDF's response in Palestine. I haven't said a single thing about that. I have said it is always sad when a child dies. And the lack of humanity that I have seen from both sides has been very troubling for me. But to say that I have to weigh in and suddenly wave an Israeli flag and say things that, because you decide that you get to use my platform because it's personal to you, how is that fair to people? How is that fair? And then to go a step further and to suggest that it might be anti-Semitic, which is basically silence is violence, as a leftist tactic, to me feels very extreme.
I see that them two just talking stuff right now on different platforms might be for like a builder for them to come together on one platform or come together on like one Daily Wire platform and just have a discussion and hash it out. Because I feel like something like that might bring in like viewership or might bring in some ratings, but it still has to give them the opportunity to show that people that are conservatives could be reasonable in our disagreements. It's still early. It's still early on in this whole issue, but I don't know which way to go. But I believe that Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro could be adults and come to a disagreement and still be reasonable and show us that hey, conservatives are like they could disagree but not want to kill each other. I want to know what you think. I want to know your opinion about what's like who's right, who's wrong, what you think what's going on. Can this be like a way to get more ratings or just like them genuinely disagreeing and but might be the end of the partnership. Like, what do you think's going on with the whole Candace Owens versus Ben Shapiro? But on that note, hey yo, I'm out of here.
And we're out of here like a screaming herd of turtles.